I didn't want to do this video. I really didn't. The reason why is that I don't want to be that person who is racist or anything, and I'm not. But in all actuality, what is going on in the world is driving me absolutely insane. I've been watching this from the start, once it started blowing up, and my problem with this is it's now personally impacting me, and with that in mind, it now is my time to bring up my feelings on this fact, because it's now affecting me and I'm not happy about it. So since December 2019, the end of December 2019, the coronavirus broke out in China, and ultimately it ended up happening during the Lunar New Year for China, so a lot of people were traveling. During that time, I was just watching. I've been watching the graph and watching the numbers, and yeah, do I agree that it has a high infection rate? Yeah. I've been watching the numbers. I know it's got a strong infection rate. However, the death rate is low compared to, say, another strain of coronavirus like SARS. SARS has a higher death rate, and it infected people no matter the age, and it killed people no matter the age, whether you had a strong immune system or not. With COVID-19, basically this strain of coronavirus particularly doesn't have that death rate that SARS does. It can impact anybody. However, most people who have strong immune systems and don't have underlying causes, that basically means you're not likely to die from this strain of virus. That's an important fact to keep note, and that's what the data has showed so far, and stuff from the studies that they've been doing that they've released to the public. Now, necessarily not everybody from within the World Health Organization, and a lot of people are still studying it. And of course, with any sort of virus, it can mutate and develop differently and impact different people differently. So it is something that can ever evolve, and the top officials are studying it, working extremely hard and working tireless nights to be able to find out how this spreads, how it has mutated, everything like that. And do I honestly think that there could be more being done or more being said? Absolutely. But at the same time, we're all human. We have the issues of being able to be like, okay, I can do this, but it's going to take a while. It's one thing to say something and another thing to do it. One of my biggest things that I've personally been watching is, I know that they've been studying and testing for this, and they've found a couple different ways of finding out how it works. Now, looking at the graphs between China, the recovery rate, and the rest of the world, China had a very normal looking graph for their coronavirus, for their infection rate. This means that it had, it curved a little bit, but then it went into an incline, straightened out, sharp incline, and then ultimately peaked a little while later. With viruses, there's usually a prime point where it will peak. And even the WHO said this, when the virus peaks, that's a good sign. That means it's not as likely to infect more people. And when looking at the recovery rate has increased by a lot since the start of COV. And the nice thing about that is they know that within the recovery rate, it is possible for people that are able to fight off the virus and don't have underlying health conditions. That is an important factor to know, that it is curable by normal means within the hospital. That is one of the biggest things that are super important to note about this. So it can be cured by normal means. However, there is not a vaccine to deal with preventing it. And that's okay. Do I think the WHO should tell us more about how to protect ourselves, other than just telling us, oh, wash your hands, don't touch your face? If masks don't work and stuff like that, then what will work? How do we prevent infection or prevent our chances from getting it? It's similar to a flu, but at the same time, it's not. So my biggest concern is they need to tell us how to protect ourselves, because that's where this problem that we have currently is situated. As you guys know, the WHO announced the other day that the coronavirus is now a pandemic. And pandemic is not a word that they take lightly. It means that they've lost track of the amount of index cases and where patient zero is coming from. This is one of the most important characteristics that go into looking at a pandemic. So if the fact that there is a lot of cases spreading around, and for me personally, I take public transit every day, and stuff like that. I've heard stuff where people have been confirmed cases while on the public transit. I've heard that at least so Metrolinx is cleaning their and disinfecting their transit. But Mississauga Transit, so where I personally live, is cleaning their buses, but people who have been exposed to the person who was tested positive with the coronavirus aren't being paid time off. Or that's what the news is covering. And that personally affects me because I take public transit all the time. And so that's a difficulty for me. But I still am like, I gotta get up, I gotta go to school, I gotta do things. I'm by myself this week. Robin's gonna be staying with me, my sister and her boyfriend and stuff. So literally for me, I'm going to be hanging out here and stuff, and so I gotta get myself to school, which brings me into the fact of what's going on here. I live in Ontario, and the province of Ontario has now said to us, we're closing public schools and stuff. So any public school, so elementary and secondary funded school is closed. So that's what is going on here. And in that sense now, the problem is that the universities and colleges are looking at their options. So quite a few of the universities have suspended all classes for the rest of the semester, and everything's online. I got today from my school, and my dad wasn't surprised by this because he even told me, Sierra, be prepared for your classes to be canceled. So I got news today, this afternoon, all classes are canceled and suspended next week for, because of the COV, as they take next week to literally do, so I'm stuck basically being home and out of school for a week as they try and figure out how they're going to proceed with the rest of the semester. So literally how it's set up, I only have 4 weeks left. They're literally telling us we're off for a week, and because classes are suspended. The school's still open, but classes are suspended. They're going to try and figure out all next week how they're going to figure out how to proceed with the rest of the semester. As some of you know, I'm an art student at Sheridan College, and this is a problem because most of what people are doing now is their courses online, and I personally need to be in class to do my work. As for me personally, I have a lot of studio stuff, meaning I've got life drawing, so I have to be in a studio for that. I've got figurative sculpture, which I have to be in school for that. I have I can do my folk and fairy tale online. That makes sense. I have to be in class, life drawing studio for digital drawing and painting. I have to be in class and have access to a Mac in order to work on my technocraft assignment. I've got my digital design studio as well. So all of those are technically classes I need to be in for work in studios. So that, pray tell, means a lot more difficulty for me in retrospect for how I do my work. Sheridan has done a really bad job in telling me how I'm supposed to proceed and how I'm supposed to be able to recover the rest of my year, because I graduate this year and stuff like that. So I personally can't do a lot of the stuff online, which impacts me. Completely insane and stuff. And I personally have seen a lot more people lately wearing masks. I've been following stuff with how people are behaving and stuff. Logically, people are behaving highly irrationally. Like, they think it's the end of the world, and literally everybody is going to be infected, and it's ultimately the end of the human race. That's literally what people are thinking. And in all honesty, yeah, it can be kind of normal in human nature. But in hindsight, the fact is the people who are behaving irrationally, who are hoarding groceries and stuff. Like, my sister was over at Metro and she can't believe the empty shelves and stuff. Literally everybody is stocking up on preservatives and stuff and things like that. And in all honesty, people are highly irrational and acting crazy. My school has also canceled all events and meetings and stuff for the rest of the semester. So literally, I won't get to say goodbye to any of my friends and face it and stuff like that. So personally, that kind of pisses me off because we literally have 4 weeks left. In 4 weeks, nobody's going to test positive in our school. Literally, Sheridan's been doing the best they can to deal with the situation. And I'm quite happy that they've been doing very well. I pack in my bag hand sanitizer, and I also pack Clorox wipes in my bag to wipe things down. That's how I'm keeping myself safe. So it is one of those biggest things that I'm looking at and stuff. And speaking of part 7 for Golden Surprise, typically I'd go into school and work on the Mac at school in the Learning Commons to work on the comic pages, as Macs typically have a bigger screen, so I'm not sitting at my laptop working on it with such a small screen. So that's typically what I would do. Now that Sheridan's like, we're going to be, like, the campus isn't closed, and I gotta go anyways next week to deal with the fact of finishing a project so I can submit it on Friday. The school's open, all of its things are open, but classes are suspended, basically, as they try and figure out how to change the course to be able to avoid people traveling into the campus and avoid the spread. From possibly what it sounds like, or my guess is, Sheridan will only allow students who are within the trade program placement or within the arts that needs to be in a studio for anything. Hell, even bachelors. Everybody that needs to be in school for their courses that can't modify their course for online only will be the only ones most likely allowed to come into school. And another thing that might really affect that is they might change the scheduling for people. In retrospect, it's so insane, and I am so frustrated by everything that's going on. My sister's fine though. She's still able to go to school and stuff. I'm the only one that's impacted at this point. But I wanted to update you guys on that and give you guys a little bit of education on it, in all things considered, because I've been just sitting here watching it. I enjoy going on to a reliable site that tracks the number of cases, and my biggest thing that I enjoy doing while on that site is literally opening up the graph and literally studying. I'll actually show you guys what one I'm on. So this is a reliable site. This has all the current people infected and stuff like that, death rate and the recovered. My favorite part of this is going up here. This is the graph that I was telling you guys about. So this is China and the infection rate. right? So this is the amount of cases and stuff up to a certain point. Here, it looked like it peaked. However, here, where it jumped, this here was when they personally started checking for COV with a CT machine rather than just normal blood work. And as you can see now, it's peaked in China. That's important. Alright, sorry about that. My app for YouTube. So as I was saying, basically here in the green is the recovery rate, right? So this is important to note. So the recovery rate has gone up substantially compared to most of that stuff. Now here, the yellow is the amount of cases in the world. So, unlike in China, which had a small curvature, here in the total in the world has a steep curve and then partly sharp curve here. And then there's a big curve here. Now, partly what's going on here is similar to what happened here. So, if anybody's watching the news currently, I am. Trump currently is talking about declaring a state of emergency in response to coronavirus. Now, is one of the biggest pieces to take note of. So, what the change is they're now putting out emergency response units to be able to test yourself for coronavirus if so long as you have symptoms. In the States, from what it sounds like, those tests will be free to do, and it won't impact and have to be paid. However, this is only to be done if you have symptoms of the coronavirus. You can call your healthcare provider, and they will give you the information of where to go to get yourself tested. And they're improving the testing quality. So more people are getting tested, and it's a faster test rate. So that's what people are doing now, and stuff like that. So that's important to take note of, and stuff like that. So with that said, that's kind of just me informing you guys on what I personally know, and not taking from other sources. Like, I'm only going off of confirmed sources and stuff like that, and really more so me talking about my frustrations and how the coronavirus is impacting me and my schooling. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it, and I wanted to just update you guys because I felt passionate to tell you kind of what's going on and kind of vent my frustrations, because at this point I'm just, it's insane. But anyways, thank you so much, guys, for watching and letting me rant to you and taking it in stride. But yeah, I'll probably see you guys a little bit later. I'm out all day tomorrow, so I won't see you guys tomorrow for sure, because I gotta go and apply for summer jobs. Hopefully I can get a summer job and the coronavirus doesn't screw me over, because I personally need money this year. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later.